blockchain removes the need for PayPal in this situation. With a distributed ledger, we can verify for ourselves that the buyer has the necessary currency, cutting out the middleman and saving time and fees. Welcome to the ultimate community for blockchain micropreneurs. I'm Digital Oil Hunter, and we're focused on bringing you incredible information to inspire and guide you on your journey. From deploying your passions with the help of revolutionary technology to taking back your freedom in the form of personal data, health, and finance. Today's episode is short and sweet. A brief introduction of the theme of the show, a background of the host, and some ideas you can expect to hear about the coming episodes. I'm happy you are here because I believe this is the start of a long and fruitful relationship between us all. Be sure to stay till the end to hear about the benefits of this community and how you can join today. Welcome. Thank you for coming. My name is Hunter Carithers, otherwise known in the digital realms as Digital Oil Hunter. And this is episode 1 of the Blockchain Micropreneur. Now, these are 2 words that I want to break down very quickly. So let's start with the easier one. What is a micropreneur? Just a quick search on Google will tell you that a micropreneur is someone that operates a business on a very small scale, or at least one with no more than 5 employees. Now, some of the guests I'll be bringing on the show operate on a much higher and larger level than this, but I myself consider myself as a micropreneur, and I wanted to create a space where other aspiring micropreneurs and entrepreneurs could connect and learn how to take their passions and deploy them with the help of a new technology, as well as get inspired to take action towards the freedoms they are searching for. Now, let's get into the second part of this show, blockchain. What is blockchain? Some call it a computer, some call it a fancy Excel sheet. It is essentially a record of time-stamped series of data that is immutable, meaning it can't be changed, and it is managed by a network of computers as opposed to, or rather than, a single centralized system. The data in this network is encrypted by cryptographic encryption. Now, before we continue to deep dive and get into the weeds a little too much, let's ask the important questions. Why do you need it, and what problem does it solve? So imagine you're selling a bike online. You don't know the person who is buying your bike, so you have no way of knowing if the buyer holds the money to pay for it. So what you have to do in that example is trust an intermediary such as PayPal for this information. Now, PayPal is crucial to the transaction because it verifies what you cannot, whether the buyer has enough money in their bank account to make the purchase. This sort of unbalanced nature of trust in this transaction is known as the Byzantine general's problem. So this came back many years ago where really smart people were trying to work on a certain consensus mechanism, and they ran into this problem. So imagine we have 4 generals planning to attack a city. At least 3 of the generals must attack at the same time in order to overpower the army that is holding the city. However, the only way that we can communicate with each other is via messenger, and they do not know if one of the other generals is a traitor. If a general were traitorous, he could modify the attack message and cause the other generals to fail. So, the only way to overcome a traitorous general is to provide the history of all messages sent and the evidence that they have not been altered. You see, if the generals see that one of the peers has sent a message that is different from the others, they will know right then that the general is traitorous and they will disregard his message. If more generals are good actors than bad actors in this attack, the correct message will be obvious. So, coming back to our bicycle selling scenario, we cannot see the buyer's equivalent of the history of all the messages sent. That is their entire transaction history, right? Therefore, like the Byzantine general example, we cannot see if the buyer is traitorous in telling us whether they have the funds to send or not. So PayPal is acting as a clearinghouse, but they also add cost and time to these transactions to do so. The blockchain removes the need for PayPal in this situation. With a distributed ledger, we can verify for ourselves that the buyer has the necessary currency, cutting out the middleman and saving time and fees. Blockchain does this with what is called fault tolerance protocols. You may have heard of two popular consensus mechanisms, such as proof of work and proof of stake. Now, one moment, please. One thing is certain. Blockchain has the potential to solve issues of data storage and security, transactions processing and intermediaries, supply chains, intellectual property, government, operations, charity, voting, and crowdfunding. I mean, not to say that this is going to happen, but just imagine if we actually had a blockchain recording financial transactions where it cannot be altered and it's in a public ledger visible for all of the US citizens to see, or global citizens around the world, in terms of where the money is being sent. All of the tax dollars, what's happening with it? That alone would be a revolutionary event. But let's not get too ahead of ourselves. At this point, you probably feel a little bit overwhelmed. Or maybe you're wondering if I'm ever going to tell you something you don't know. The answer is yes. And don't worry if you're overwhelmed. My goal is to bring guests to you who are much deeper in their respective worlds and much smarter than I am about their respective passions. Now, before we wrap up episode 1, I just want to give a brief introduction about myself so that you understand why I'm here. For the past 6 years, I've worked for a digital solutions company focused on engineering. We provide talent, training, and engineering solutions to tech-forward companies in the areas of cloud, data and AI, and platform engineering. This experience helped inspire some of my passion for connecting technology with people. And as I began learning about the blockchain, cryptocurrency, NFTs, and the rest, I doubled down. I started doing freelance as a Web3 headhunter. So I've been connecting clients with blockchain-based talent, such as developers mostly. And for the past 1.5 years, I've been a platform tester for a new blockchain ecosystem where I've had the opportunity to be an early adopter for a distributed commerce platform. The ecosystem is comprised of several financial technology companies, each representing an industry sector that is structured by a distributed exchange. So you have real shared services driving real commerce to real companies to produce real revenue. And since the platform is tied together by regulated digital securities behaving like cryptocurrency, these companies have access to real capital. Now, beyond the work that I do, I am a husband. I am a father to a 5-month-old daughter. I am passionate about bringing awareness to the connection between human health and the health of our land and seas by leveraging principles such as regenerative-based agriculture and ranching. I'll be bringing guests on to talk about the importance of this mission and the ways that we as individuals can make massive impact with low-effort actions in this space. And lastly, I am a student of social and emotional learning. Education for both kids and adults has for a long time remained stagnant in the mainstream channels, and we are seeing amazing results with alternative methods focused on helping people to manage their emotions through self and social awareness. So, if any of these topics interest you, then I'm happy you're here. If you didn't hear anything of interest, I'll ask you to give it a chance because helping others to deploy their passions with the use of this new technology is a big focus. But getting a hold of our freedom through mindset, health, finance, tech, and more is embedded into it all. So head over to my website, www.digitaloilhunter.com, and subscribe for free to get a recap of all the latest podcast episodes, breakdown of new opportunities I'm involved in, and strategies to consider for thriving in this next iteration of what some are calling the next Great Depression. There, you can find all my socials, and we are just getting started. So I'm excited to connect and build with you all. Life, as you know, can change or be taken at any moment. What are we going to do about it? Stay tuned and see you soon.